This is your Story Hub News and Sports Update. I'm Charlie Ramsdale in Derby.
And I'm Harriet in Derby. Our top stories today. As we come out of our second national lockdown, how has COVID-19 affected our high street shops?
We asked mental health experts whether coronavirus is making seasonal depression worse.
And how exactly are small businesses coping with the additional pressure post-lockdown? The high street has been one of the hardest hit during the lockdown, with everything moving online. Some stores have not been able to recover, and it makes a question: will hitting the shops ever be the same? Amira Abiter reports from a store that just reopened its doors in time for Christmas and asks the staff how they feel about being back.
Over lockdown, many stores have had to close, with some permanently closing their doors forever. We look at one store that's recently reopened and see how they're dealing with upcoming Christmas.
Working in retail, obviously we feel for other stores. We work on a retail park, so we all work closely together, and it's not nice to ever see a store have to close.
With people's jobs being on the line, we asked the staff how they felt with their doors closed for a second time.
So we all felt a bit anxious and a bit disappointed, and we didn't know how long it would go on for. For us, the lead up to Christmas is a really busy period, and we thought we'd miss out on sales.
This has been Amira Abouter reporting for Story Hub.
As the nights get longer, many of us are familiar with the clause of seasonal depression. But following a year of global devastation, what impact has COVID-19 had on those who are already struggling?
I think whenever you have various changes that are going on around you that are outside of your control, when you sum them up, it should be something that is looked at, especially now coming into winter with lockdown. I think there was a lot of people looking at lockdown in general, and then as we move towards the winter months, I think, yeah, it's 100%. It needs to be looked at even more because we're not out of lockdown, and we don't know what's going to be coming around the corner. So adding on another layer that is seasonal depression is not going to make a whole lot of things better, unfortunately. But yeah, I think more professional, or they're looking to sit down with someone and try and work through their emotions, they can get through to student wellbeing services via the UDO app. There's a block called Wellbeing, and from there you can book an appointment, or you can ring up. If you Google it, it literally depends.
Millions of lives nationwide these past few months, but especially those with small businesses. As the second lockdown loomed, thousands were forced to shut down, and many now fear they won't open up again. Tori Blacklock is in Hebden Bridge with a few of the many who have feared this.
But it's also affects obviously business. I've got my own business and I'm also a head chef. My businesses that I supply to are closed, so it's had a knock-on effect. Where I'm head chef, they've been closed. We're trying to do takeaway, but the take-ins are nowhere near what they have been. I'd say it's probably affected the pub more. Pubs had absolutely no income whatsoever. I do baking and I supply to the public as well as businesses. So I've still got the public buying. And then there is a lot of concern that we might not survive there. We've spent thousands of pounds making our premises COVID safe, but we can't open. I think people are going to be a lot more cautious about going to places where there's crowd. It'll take a long time for people to get used to it and be comfortable in crowds again. I think long term we're probably not going to get as busy as we have been.
Because of COVID-19, the whole world is facing a cultural catastrophe. Derby's cultural and creative sector is one of the areas affected most by the current crisis. I went out to find out more on this.
The UK just got out of the second lockdown, which has left in its wake lots of empty theatres, museums, cinemas, cancellations of concerts and lots of restrictions, which have a great impact in the cultural sectors. But let's see how Derby is facing the impact of the crisis.
Is planning for the future and not having the certainty about when things will reopen, when measures will loosen, etc. So many of the projects that we were planning for even 2-3 years in advance, we're having to put on hold at the moment because we don't have any certainty about whether those artists will be able to create the work or travel. or do any of the things they would normally do. And I know from colleagues that work in theatre, the challenge is huge, because with a stage production, you have to have a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks of time about opening the doors. It's about all the preparation stuff that needs to go in advance.
The events of 2020 have massively affected gyms and their members. The year has been a stop-start for everybody, but this has been particularly hard on gyms and those who decided to make a change to their fitness. Gyms have just recently reopened from another lockdown, and there are health and safety procedures in place to make sure it is a safe environment for members to attend.
Do you mind telling me your name?
Laurinas.
How do you feel about being back in the gym?
Sorry?
How do you feel about being back in the gym?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, when I come back, I feel that my personality, come back. It's like this, now.
When the gym was closed, were you doing home workouts?
Yeah, I'm running in a parks,
Yep.
and I have some dumbbells at home.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm doing some exercise at home. Yeah.
Do you think the gym has done the right thing with the safety, like having one machine closed in the space and the cleaning?
I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
And do you think everyone's wearing their masks? Everyone in the gym's doing their bit to keep everything safe, or?
Sorry?
Do you think everyone's doing their bit to keep it safe, like wearing masks and cleaning machines? Do you see people doing that?
I think no. Some people is wearing the masks, but a lot of people are not wearing. So I'm also not wearing the mask in gym. Yeah, I know that.
Do you think the government did the right thing by closing it down for a month, or do you think they could have kept the gyms open for a month and didn't have to close it down for everyone? Because for everyone's mental health being and keeping the gyms open is good for your mental health.
I think if we get the vaccine in March, it doesn't matter if we have to walk over hot coals. As long as everyone's safe at 3 months' time, let them do whatever they want.
Okay. And what do you think about how everything's been handled?
Regarding the restrictions.
Yep.
I think they should have stopped people messing about at the start, and now there's all this anti-viral campaign going on, anti-vaccine, and then there's the people who think it's all a joke. So I think that should have been stamped out from the start.
Okay.
Professional gaming or esports has continued to grow year on year as professional players compete for millions of dollars in prize money. Esports has been recently valued in the region of 1.1 billion, but will it ever be regarded as a real sport?
I would say it would probably overtake traditional sports media. I first started playing Overwatch when I went to my friend's house, at the time on Xbox, and I tried it and I was like, okay, these characters are pretty cool. Then when I got my own Xbox, I tried it out and really enjoyed it before moving over to PC. I enjoyed a lot of the competition as well as just the variety that came with Overwatch. I was starting to get bored with a lot of shooters. After a while, they all sort of felt the same. But with the heroes and the abilities that came with Overwatch, it was a fresh and new experience that hadn't really been done before. And so it was something I kind of gravitated towards.
Right. It looks like there's going to be a few drizzly days ahead. Today, mostly cloudy with highs of 4 degrees. There's a chance we'll see some rain from 9 p.m. tonight, carrying on into the early hours of the morning. Tomorrow, it will be much the same, but dry until 4 p.m. with highs of 6 degrees.
From Hararua
and Charlie Ramsdale.